Hi. Yes, first
Hi.
of all, I am so nervous and awestruck. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
I grew
nice.
up watching you with my mom in the afternoons. Fast forward 11-ish days later, Rusty's come home. He's starting to acclimate. We definitely were mindful of giving him that space. And Rusty was in the room with us. And I don't know how long I had been asleep, but I just remember waking up because he was barking, and this dog had not made a noise the whole time we had had him so far. And Wesley at the time was 6 months old, and Michael was 21 months old. And so I got up and I was like, you know what, Rusty, like, stop. But then he started gnawing at my sleeve on my sweatshirt that I was wearing. So I opened my drawer. I still get chills kind of thinking about it, but my house was filled with black smoke. And at the time, I didn't know what was going to happen. I just remember kind of like going into the things that I did know, because my husband is a firefighter and has been a volunteer firefighter for 20 plus years. So I knew I needed to stay low. I knew I needed to grab my boys and also get the dogs out. So Rusty and my other dog, Aria, that was in the bedroom, came down the steps with me. I couldn't see anything because it was just such a thick layer of smoke in the house. But I got them outside. I got with the boys. I put them safely in their car seats in my car that happened to be parked up front. But then I realized that my other dogs were still inside. And so I know what they say, and my husband scolded me for it, I promise, but to not go back in. But I went back in because I was not going to leave my dogs behind because they're my family. And so I went back in, the thick of the smoke. My Dalmatian, who you would think would be the most equipped to handle a situation like this, proceeded to roll over and fall back to sleep as I'm trying to drag her out of the house. In that process, I located the fire. There was a fire extinguisher in our kitchen, and I was able to put it out very quickly. And evidently, what had happened was an electrical outlet burst, and that spark caught a cereal box, which then caught on fire, which then fell into a pot, or at least that's what we've surmised from, the investigations afterwards. So my husband
And where were
also
your smoke detectors? What happened with the smoke detectors?
That's a good question, right? So we, test our smoke detectors, daylight savings twice a year. We do all of those things, for very fire prevention minded, just naturally, and they failed. They didn't go off.
Wow.
Yikes.
But Rusty had sensed the smoke in the house and that there was something going on and was trying to get you out. Yes.
Yes, and I mean, we were new to him. He was new to us. But the fact that he was willing to do whatever it took to make sure that we got out of that house, I mean, and it means absolutely everything to us. And, quite frankly, if Rusty hadn't have been there, because evidently my other dogs could have cared less, I'm not sure where we would be right now, which is hard to think about because the 6-month-old baby and a 21-month-old, I mean, my own
Yeah.
life put aside, I can't imagine what that would
Yeah.
have looked like. So we're very grateful to him.
It's interesting that you say cared less. I don't know if it's cared less or that dog had a sensitivity that the other dogs did not. What do you say,
Well,
Carl?
apparently that's the case. But I think, Rusty was probably wondering, I'm alerting you to something really
Yes.
serious and dangerous. You won't believe me. A lot of times when dogs are trying to alert people, we don't give them the credit of saying, oh, what's wrong? Let me get up and check it out, right? We try to dismiss it because we don't give them the credit that they deserve, even though we love them. They're part of
Yeah.
our family, but our expectations of them don't really match their capabilities.
That's right, because you're so readily willing to dismiss them when they're obviously trying to show you something or speak to you in a way that communicates danger or communicates
Yeah.
alarm. Yes. Gabby, thank you so
Amazing.
much for sharing that
Amazing.
story.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Rusty, we couldn't see you, but thank you, Rusty. Amanda and her son Gabriel are joining us on Zoom. Amanda, tell us what happened with your dog, Axel.
Yes. So thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here. And so my son Gabriel, he had a stroke at 17 and going into his senior year of high school. And on Saturday morning, Axel, our dog, woke me up at around 5 in the morning, and he wasn't very gentle about it. He went on top of the bed in our room, both paws on my chest, really intense on waking me up. I figured, the dog wanted to be let out. So my husband went downstairs. My son's room was downstairs, and my husband walked to the back to open the sliding door and let Axel out, and he didn't follow. He stopped in front of my son's door. Little did we know, my son was already actively having a stroke, had fallen before that. While we were upstairs sleeping. I don't know if Axel saw it, if he was present or not, but he knew he knew to go upstairs, wake us up, bring us downstairs to encounter Gabriel, and stopped in front of Gabriel's room. And Gabriel came out. He was slurring. He was already, actively in this stroke. And being a teenage boy, we would never have gone into his room until possibly noon, 1 p.m. I mean,
because teenagers sleep. Yes. Yes.
Exactly. And so, it was later we found out from doctors how significant and important it was that Axel cued us to go see Gabriel, because had it been 5 hours before we got him to the hospital, he could have been paralyzed forever or worse.
Gabriel, what do you want to say?
I don't know where I would have been if it wasn't like as fast as it was, but like hearing that if it wasn't as fast as it was, that I would have not even recovered as well as I have is just, It was terrifying.
Yeah. And I was wondering, how do you not give Axel every treat how do you not succumb to everything? Because like, Axel, you saved my life, so you can have anything you want now from now on. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he's actually right here next to me. He's kind of laying down. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. There he is.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's a beautiful dog. Beautiful dog. What kind of dog?
He's a border collie mix. So
Border collies are so smart anyway.
They are so smart.
Yeah.
But look at the love in just right there. You can just
look
see.
at that.
I mean,
what do you make of this, Carl?
well, look, I mean, here is just these two. We think of them as different species, right? People and dogs, and yet the pleasure of that touch is so mutual. And dogs understand when things are normal and when things are out of the ordinary, and they understand distress. They show that all the time. You
So
know?
that makes sense to you that Axel would have sensed something was off with Gabriel and would have awakened them.
But the strange thing is, I mean, was your door closed?
Was your door
Yeah.
closed in the room? The door was closed. Okay.
yeah, I went to my room and then I closed the door, just go to sleep because that's just normal. And that's whenever my dad came down with Axel, and that's whenever Axel just like he stopped at my door and he just wouldn't leave.
Yeah. So Oprah, there's another thing in there that is a thing called object permanence, and psychologists forever said only humans have object permanence, the idea that when you don't see something, it still exists. Well, obviously, these dogs know who they are. They know who we are. They know where they are. They understand their lives. They understand who is in their lives. We are in their lives. So this dog saw their person in trouble, have a fall. He goes, he closes the door. The dog still knows he's in there in trouble and goes to get help.
Wow. We've heard this a lot, though. Are dogs able to sense strokes more so than, I don't know?
Well, there are some illness. There are dogs that are trained to alert
Yes.
about seizures and things like that. And apparently there are even chemical cues that the body gives off that dogs can smell about oncoming seizures. It's a little different than this, right? But
Yes.
but other kinds of cues, because they're like superheroes, right? Their smell is way better than ours. Their hearing is way better than ours. So in a way, their world is a lot more vivid to them than our world is to us.
World is vivid. Thanks, Gabriel. Thanks, Amanda. Thank you. And good dog, Axel.
Yeah, good dog.
Good dog.
Axel.
Thanks for sharing that. Thank you.